What happens when real people step into the courtroom of one of the most compassionate judges of all time? From tearful confessions to heartwarming surprises, Judge Caprio has seen it all. But today, we're diving into the most dramatic moments ever witnessed in his courtroom. Get ready for shocking twists, emotional stories, and unforgettable decisions that will leave you speechless. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss these amazing stories. Let's dive right in. Imagine walking into court with a fine you can't afford, hoping for leniency, and then finding yourself overwhelmed with tears because of your life's struggles. That's what happened when a father stepped into Judge Caprio's courtroom, and what unfolded next left everyone speechless. It started like any other hearing. A man, middle-aged, stood before Judge Caprio, looking nervous. He had received a parking ticket and was here to contest it. His face showed the weight of the world, and you could tell he didn't just need help with the fine. He needed someone to listen to him. The judge asked the standard question, "Why are you here today?" The man explained that he had parked in a no-parking zone because he was late picking up his daughter from school. He admitted it was a mistake, but then his voice broke as he shared more of his story. This wasn't just about a parking ticket. He was a single father, recently laid off from his job and struggling to make ends meet. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, leaving him to raise his little girl alone. His daughter, he said, was his world, and that day, he had been rushing to get her because he couldn't afford to pay for extra hours of childcare. The courtroom grew silent as the man spoke. You could see Judge Caprio leaning forward, his face full of compassion. This wasn't just another routine case to him. It was a chance to make a difference. "Tell me about your daughter," the judge said, his voice softening. The man smiled weakly, his eyes glistening with tears. "She's 8 years old. She loves to draw and says she wants to be an artist. She's been through so much, and I just want to make sure she has a better life than I've had." The judge nodded, taking a moment before responding. "You've been through a lot, and I can see you're doing everything you can for your little girl. That's not easy." Judge Caprio turned to the records. The fine was $100, a small amount for some, but for this man, it might as well have been a fortune. Judge Caprio smiled kindly and said, "Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to dismiss this ticket, but more importantly, I want to tell you that you're doing a great job as a father." The man couldn't hold back his tears anymore. He thanked the judge repeatedly, his voice trembling with emotion. The courtroom erupted in applause, and even the spectators were wiping their eyes. This moment wasn't just about canceling a ticket. It was about recognizing the humanity behind the case. Judge Caprio's compassion reminded everyone watching that sometimes people don't need punishment. They need understanding. Stories like this show why kindness and justice matter so much in our world. If you believe in second chances and compassion, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. But not all cases in Judge Caprio's court are this emotional. Some are dramatic for entirely different reasons, like the time a mom brought her toddler to court, and what happened next had everyone laughing out loud. It all started when a young mom entered the courtroom with her toddler. She was there to contest a speeding ticket, explaining that she was running late for work and didn't realize how fast she was driving. Judge Caprio listened attentively, but his attention quickly shifted to the curious little boy holding his mom's hand. The boy, dressed in a tiny hoodie and sneakers, was staring at the judge with wide eyes. He clutched a toy car in his hand, which he kept rolling on the desk in front of him. Judge Caprio couldn't help but smile. "Who's this little guy?" he asked. The mom laughed nervously and introduced her son. "This is Liam," she said. "He's 3 and well, he doesn't like to stay quiet for long." Judge Caprio, always quick on his feet, decided to make the boy feel welcome. "Liam," he said, leaning forward with a twinkle in his eye, "how about you help me decide this case? Should I charge your mom a big fine, a small fine, or no fine at all?" The courtroom erupted in laughter as Liam looked at the judge with utter seriousness. After a moment of thought, he said, "No fine." The judge chuckled. "You sure about that?" What if she promises not to speed again? Liam nodded enthusiastically, holding up his toy car. No more fast cars! The room filled with laughter, and even the mom couldn't stop giggling. Judge Caprio turned back to the mom, smiling. Well, it looks like Liam has spoken, and he's very persuasive. I'm going to dismiss this ticket, but you better promise to slow down. Otherwise, I might have to call Liam back here to deal with you. The mom thanked the judge, her face full of relief and gratitude. Liam waved goodbye to everyone as they left, and the courtroom buzzed with joy long after they were gone. This moment wasn't just funny. It was a reminder of how a little humor and kindness can turn a stressful situation into something memorable. Judge Caprio's ability to connect with people, no matter their age, showed why his courtroom is unlike any other. If this story made you smile, imagine how many more uplifting moments happen in courtrooms like this every day. Make sure to subscribe for more stories that will brighten your day. While Liam's decision was purely innocent and fun, the next case brought a much more serious tone to the courtroom, a case that tested Judge Caprio's wisdom and fairness like never before. The teenager, Emily, had been issued a fine for running a red light. But this wasn't just about a traffic violation. It was about a young girl navigating unimaginable challenges. When Judge Caprio asked why she ran the light, Emily hesitated. I was on my way to the hospital, she finally admitted, her voice breaking. Who were you visiting? The judge asked gently. My mom, Emily said, wiping away a tear. She's been sick for a while. That night, I got a call from the hospital saying she had taken a turn for the worse. I panicked and drove as fast as I could to get to her. The courtroom was silent. Judge Caprio leaned back in his chair, his expression serious. After a moment, the judge spoke. Emily, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. I can't imagine how hard this must be for you. Emily nodded, struggling to hold back her tears. Judge Caprio looked at the records. The ticket was for $85, a huge amount for a teenager with no job. I understand why you did what you did, he said, but running a red light is dangerous. You could have hurt yourself or someone else. Emily nodded again. I know. I'm really sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Judge Caprio thought for a moment, then smiled softly. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dismiss this ticket because I believe you acted out of love, not recklessness. But I want you to promise me that from now on, you'll find a safer way to handle emergencies, okay? Emily nodded, her face a mixture of relief and gratitude. Thank you so much, Judge. I promise. As she walked out of the courtroom, everyone could feel the weight of her story. This case wasn't just about dismissing a ticket. It was about showing compassion and understanding in a moment of crisis. Judge Caprio reminded everyone that behind every case is a human story, and sometimes, empathy is the most important verdict of all. Stories like Emily's remind us of the power of compassion in the justice system. If you believe in spreading kindness, hit the like button and share this video with someone who needs a little hope today. From heartbreaking moments to surprising twists, Judge Caprio's courtroom has seen it all. The next case, however, takes a turn for the unusual when a man's defense leaves everyone scratching their heads and laughing out loud. It started as a standard case. A man in his late 40s stood before the judge, charged with parking in a no-parking zone. The fine was $50, but what made the case memorable wasn't the violation itself. It was the explanation that followed. When asked why he parked in a restricted area, the man, who introduced himself as Tony, immediately launched into a story. "Your Honor, I swear, it wasn't me," he began. Judge Caprio raised an eyebrow. "The car in question belongs to you, correct?" Tony nodded sheepishly. "Yes, but it was stolen that day." The courtroom murmured in surprise. A stolen car? That sounded serious. But before anyone could feel sorry for Tony, he dropped the punchline. "By my cousin," Tony blurted out, throwing his hands in the air. Judge Caprio leaned forward, visibly amused. "Your cousin stole your car and then parked it illegally?" Tony nodded earnestly. "Yes, Your Honor. He's not the smartest guy. He borrowed the car without asking, parked it, and then forgot where he left it. I didn't even know about the ticket until I got the notice in the mail." The courtroom erupted in laughter. Even Judge Caprio couldn't hide his grin. "So let me get this straight. Your cousin borrowed your car, forgot where he parked it, and now you're here to explain why you shouldn't have to pay the fine." Tony nodded vigorously. "Exactly. I mean, it's not fair, right? I wasn't even there." Judge Caprio, always quick with his wit, decided to have a little fun. "Tony, have you considered lending your cousin a bicycle instead? It might save you some trouble." The courtroom laughed again, and even Tony cracked a smile. "But," the judge continued, his tone growing serious, "the law is clear. The car is registered in your name, which makes you responsible for the fine. Unless you have proof, like a police report or any other documentation, I'm afraid I can't dismiss this ticket." Tony's face fell. "I didn't file a report, Your Honor. I mean, it's family, you know. You don't call the cops on family." Judge Caprio nodded understandingly. "I get it, Tony. Family can be complicated. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll reduce the fine to $25, but next time, maybe have a little chat with your cousin about boundaries." Tony laughed. "Oh, trust me, Your Honor, he's getting an earful tonight." This case was a reminder that while rules are rules, a little humor can go a long way in lightening the mood. Judge Caprio showed how important it is to balance fairness with understanding, even in the most unusual situations. If you think this case was hilarious, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another unforgettable moment from Judge Caprio's courtroom. Tony's cousin may have stolen the show and the car, but the next case brought a whole new level of intensity. A single mother fighting against all odds to provide for her family. The woman, Maria, was in her early 30s, visibly exhausted as she stood before the judge. She had received multiple parking tickets totaling over $200, an amount she couldn't afford to pay. When Judge Caprio asked her to explain, Maria hesitated. "Your Honor, I know I made mistakes, but I didn't have a choice," she said, her voice trembling. "Why don't you tell me what happened?" the judge encouraged gently. Maria took a deep breath and began. She worked 2 jobs to support her 3 children, often juggling shifts that left her little time to rest. The parking tickets had piled up because she had no other place to park near her second job, a night shift at a diner. "I tried to pay them off little by little," she said, "but every time I made a dent, another bill would come up. Rent, groceries, school supplies. I couldn't keep up." Judge Caprio listened intently, his expression serious but kind. "Maria, it sounds like you've been carrying a heavy load," he said. "Let me ask you this. Have you reached out for any assistance? Family, friends, local programs?" Maria shook her head. "It's just me, Your Honor. My kids depend on me, and I don't want to burden anyone else." The judge nodded thoughtfully, then turned to the clerk for more information. The tickets were for violations like expired meters and no parking zones, common mistakes made by people in a rush or under stress. "Maria," Judge Caprio said, "I understand that life hasn't been easy for you, and it's clear that you're doing your best. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm dismissing all of these tickets, but I want you to promise me that you will reach out to someone for help. Nobody should have to carry all this on their own." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Your Honor. You have no idea how much this means to me." As she left the courtroom, the audience applauded, moved by both her resilience and the judge's compassion. This case was a powerful reminder of the struggles many people face every day. It showed how empathy and understanding can make a world of difference, turning a courtroom into a place of hope. Did this story inspire you? If so, leave a comment below about how kindness has impacted your life. And don't forget to share this video with someone who could use a little positivity today. Maria's story touched everyone's hearts, but not every case in Judge Caprio's courtroom ends on such an emotional note. The next case was more puzzling than moving. A man with a fine so small, It made everyone wonder why he even bothered showing up at all. An elderly gentleman named Mr. Richards, dressed in a neatly pressed suit, approached the bench. Judge Caprio greeted him warmly, as he often did with older individuals. "Well, Mr. Richards, what brings you here today?" the judge asked with a smile. Mr. Richards adjusted his glasses and replied firmly, "Your Honor, I'm here to dispute a ticket." The judge glanced at the details on his screen and paused. "It says here that your parking violation fine is 1 cent?" The courtroom chuckled, and even Judge Caprio couldn't help but grin. "Mr. Richards, are you sure this is worth your time?" Mr. Richards nodded resolutely. "Your Honor, it's not about the money. It's about the principle. I didn't park illegally. That 1 cent represents an error, and I'm here to correct it." Intrigued, Judge Caprio asked for more details. Mr. Richards explained that he had parked his car in front of a library while returning a book. The meter had expired by just 30 seconds before he got back. "I was on time," he insisted, but the meter disagreed. The judge chuckled. "So, you're here to tell me that this 1 cent ticket is a matter of justice?" Mr. Richards straightened his tie. "Precisely, Your Honor. If we don't stand up for what's right, no matter how small the issue, where does it end?" Judge Caprio leaned back in his chair, clearly entertained but also impressed by the man's conviction. "Mr. Richards, you've made a compelling case. I admire your determination to uphold the principle of fairness, even over a penny." He paused for dramatic effect. "And because of that, I'm going to dismiss this ticket. You don't owe the court anything." The audience burst into applause, and Mr. Richards gave a satisfied nod. "Thank you, Your Honor. Justice has been served." As the gentleman walked away, Judge Caprio shook his head, laughing softly. "Only in Providence," he said, eliciting more laughter from the room. This case was a light-hearted reminder that standing up for what you believe in, no matter how small, can still make a big impact. While most people wouldn't bother with a 1 cent ticket, Mr. Richards' determination was a testament to his character. And that wraps up our look at some of the most dramatic and sometimes hilarious moments from Judge Caprio's courtroom. Which case did you find the most memorable? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another incredible story from the courtroom. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.